Well,
yep. We are on.
Okay, everybody. Sorry we missed last week. Our beach was flooded. We couldn't, we couldn't get out.
We left.
And one personal note, thank you for all the support for it. We did it the week before last. We got 3,200 views. That's the very first time we ever had that many. I want to thank everybody for their support and all their fun comments and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, so we went to the movies last night and we saw something that we thought looked a little scary. We're not really big for scary movies, but we said, let's give it a shot.
It's like a psychological thriller.
It's called Mother, with an exclamation point. Stars Jennifer Lawrence, which we didn't think she'd be in a part like this. It's unusual for her to be in this kind of part. And Javier Bardem was her husband. And the other characters in it was Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, and there was a very small appearance at the end by Kristen Wiig. So, we don't know what to say.
This was horrible.
We don't know what to say about this movie.
It was the strangest movie I've ever seen in my entire
life. When it got done, she looked at me and she said, that was the worst movie
saying, what's going on?
That I've ever seen in my entire life.
Why are they there? Why isn't he doing this? We don't know
how to explain this to you.
I wasn't even going to do anything. She said, what are you going to do? I said, nothing.
In the very beginning, there's a woman standing there, and you could see she's in a fire. She looked exactly like that. Blood all over her. Her hair was wet, and they showed her face, and she was on fire. Like fire came up around her.
And she just closed her eyes, and the fire consumed her.
Yeah, consumed her. So then the next scene is Jennifer Lawrence is in the house.
Well, they start showing this big, beautiful house, and the fire that had taken it, but it was regenerating.
He had a glass thing in a vase in his office. And he was looking at it, and he was touching it, and all of a sudden, the house
renovating
came back to life again. And Jennifer,
there was a piece of glass. It was
in a vase
rock.
In his office. Yeah,
and he idolized it. He was always like, "Don't touch it."
So
you're not. It
centers around this.
Yeah.
So then the house went all miraculously went back to normal. And then Jennifer Lawrence gets up out of bed. And she comes looking for him. He's a writer who wrote a book a couple years earlier. A poet. And he has writer's block. So he's not been writing. And she's been renovating the house. And Ed Harris just shows up. He thinks it's a bed and breakfast. And he shows up. Because it's this big giant house in the middle of nowhere.
And that's it. From that point on, it was...
It was like, what?
But the husband was like, oh, how you doing? Come on in. And I'm going like this. And she's like... Then he asked him to spend the night. And she's like, we don't even know him. He's a stranger. Well, where else? Then it just gets absolutely insane. It gets insane. I'm just sitting there. The one behind me was laughing, and it was a little comical because you had no idea what was going on. It was the most ridiculous. But they say it's a masterpiece. Brilliant.
They said that we had to read some stuff about it because we were like, what did we miss? We must have missed the whole thing about this because it was so incredibly stupid.
It was just... After all, we surmised that you're not going to see it.
They did an exit poll for people that went to the movies, and they said 7% of the people who went to see it liked it, and the other 93 hated it.
They didn't like it. They loved it. They said it was a masterpiece. And
then some of the critics were like, "We didn't like it.
A movie of it's never seen. This is
because you don't expect what's happening." It just made no sense.
The one statement that one person said was, "It was, where you can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah,
where it takes you right from the beginning, and it does. It's like a train wreck. You're like, well, I'm in this now.
You gotta
watch it because this is making." No sense to me. Maybe at the end it will. Now,
when the lights went on, all the people around us were like, what the hell was that about?
They just got up and walked out. People were like, what was that supposed to be? Anyway, what we think it was, he must have been some kind of devil or something. And the only way he got his writing ability back or his
we can't say too much. People might see it.
Nobody's going to... Don't see this.
No, don't even go.
Jennifer Lawrence, she was good in it, though. I gotta say, she was
My girlfriend at work told me today that she read a thing about her doing a movie, and she was really, really angst the whole time she was doing this movie. She had anxiety really bad.
Her facial expressions
like they had
exactly what we were doing, going, like, what is going on here? Why are you in my home?
And the ending was bizarre.
Bizarre.
We looked at each other and went, oh my
She had to
God.
look away at one spot. It was very disturbing.
It was
violent.
very, violent
It was
too.
violent. It was just off the wall, ridiculous. I gotta go. It's 5 minutes. It's too long on this movie.
I don't even know what to do.
I'm giving it this.
You're giving it 0? No, we can't give it 0.
And I'm giving it a half. I'm giving it a half of a half.
I'm giving it a quarter
Half of a half.
A half of a half.
It was so.
I'm giving it a half. The actors all were really good. The actors were kind of believable.
Was really
the acting was good.
But not worth going to see. I'm sorry.
You had to see the weird role that Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer played.
And Michelle Pfeiffer. What? Everybody was coming in, like walking in her house, like they lived there, and she's looking at them. She's, "What are you doing in my house?" And the husband's all, "Oh, just let them." It was strange. What we think is he needed this. He had writer's block, so when he became poet, he wrote a thing after he found out she was pregnant. He wrote this thing, and they loved it, and it was just so weird. And then they were supposed to be his fans, I guess, and he didn't want to let them. It was bizarre.
Like there were hundreds of people in the house.
6 minutes. We got to go. It's ridiculous. Hundreds, thousands. It was. I can't talk
And
about
was
it anymore.
very violent
I'm getting
too.
very disturbed by this.
So don't even bother. There's a couple good ones coming out. We want to see. Want to see the Battle of the Sexes about Billie Jean King. We want to see that one with.
Oh my God! If
Kate
anybody
Winslet.
sees this movie, knows what happened.
So can you
I
tell us?
think we got it. I
know.
think he was a devil. I think he was a demon. And the only way he could get his writer block one was to have a baby, sacrifice the baby. Okay, that was disturbing. And then he went on and did it
I can't
again.
believe you gave the whole movie away.
Oh, nobody's going to see this.
She gave the whole movie away. You're not supposed
Listen
to do
to
that.
me. Do not. You want them to spend their money on this?
No, I don't want
We
to
were in
spend
the
any
bathroom.
money.
The girl said to me, "Well, at least you only spent $6 on it." I said, $6? I didn't want to spend $6. We should say.
And I said during the bathroom, I said I didn't want to spend
7
6
minutes.
cents.
We got to
on
go
this.
too long.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Hang in, everybody. See you next week.
Go to the movies, of course, but
Not today.
Bye-bye.